Welcome to Customer First. It's a three-part series to help you deal with customers and help you manage them in normal and extraordinary circumstances, and also to work with your suppliers to deliver reliable commitments to your customers. This first video of three is an overview of the key concepts and principles in Customer First. And it's important to start there so that we're all on the same page regarding what it is we're trying to accomplish. So let's begin. Obviously, you need to know who I am. Who is this guy doing this course? I created Customer First many years ago. As you see, I do a lot of things, and I've been doing them for about 25 years. And I've spoken to more than 370,000 people, worked with hundreds of companies in lots of different industries, and worked around the globe with lots of different cultures. And the material we're going to learn in this course does work in virtually any culture. So you always want to think about culture as you apply these principles to your customers and to yourself and to your colleagues. And you also want to think about how it works within your culture and how it can work as you work with customers who are from other cultures. So this course is about learning to serve your customers more effectively and this is not a small thing, with less stress and effort. Because who needs more stress and effort? So we're going to learn interpersonal communication tools and skills to help you reassure your customers, to help build trust, to manage expectations, very key, to persuade, to overcome resistance, to calm angry people down, to gain support and create reliable options for your customers. We're also going to learn some self-management tools and skills to help you maintain an optimal mindset and build relationships and get more done without working longer or harder. Sound good? By the way, you're not guinea pigs. We're not making this up as we go along. This has been developed and fine-tuned over about 20 years with tens of thousands of people in dozens of industries across the globe. And these are people who have field experience, and it's all been field tested. Here's what we're going to learn in this first video. We're going to learn about the Customer First system. What is it? How's it work? Why do you need it? We're going to talk briefly about the elements of doing your job effectively. We're going to learn about the Mars scale. What's that? How can we use it? We're going to define customers and suppliers so we're all thinking with the same terms. I'm going to show you the seesaw, which is really a way to describe how everyone does their job. And finally, we're going to look at the customer experience triangle, because customer experience isn't the same as customer service. It's a piece of it. So, Customer First is an interaction system that you use with customers and colleagues to deliver great service to your internal and external customers. And it works like this. The F stands for feel good. Feel good and help your customers feel good as you serve them. Feeling good is the foundation and the base for everything. People who feel good produce good results. People who feel lousy produce lousy results. All other things being equal. And how we feel is a function of a number of different factors. We need to look at them all and see which ones we can control. If we start our day feeling lousy, we're going to have a lousy day and we're going to produce lousy results. Now, everybody knows this, but how many of us do something about it actively? I'll show you some ways to do that. When you're feeling good and you're helping your customers feel good, next thing you got to do, of course, is get some information. You need to identify the need the customer has or identify the opportunity you have to help your customer. And you need to receive all the right information. So the I and R go together. Identify the need or opportunity and receive the right information. You know, if you don't receive the right information, you could go off and do the wrong thing. And even if you do it well, it's still the wrong thing. Some people do the wrong thing with excellence. You identified the need, the opportunity, you've got all the right information. Now you need to send the right message, and you need to manage your customers' expectations. In a nutshell, what that means is don't make promises in the dark. Don't overcommit. Don't guess. So that's part of a good professional experience as well, sending the right message to your customer. Then you need to take action with your colleagues, with your suppliers, and create the deliverable for your customer, or create options, but create solutions. So feel good, identify the need or opportunity, receive the right information, send the right message, and manage expectations. Then take the right action with your colleagues to create options, to create solutions. That's the first system. And the basis of this whole course is to give you tools and skills at each of these 4 points to help you do them all with excellence. Of course, there are a couple of elements that enable you to do your job effectively when you think about it. One thing you got to do is you have to have job-related knowledge to do your job effectively. You need to know your products. You need to know the services that you offer. You need to know your own company, your own processes. You need to know where to go to get help. You need to know your customer, their needs, their situation, the contract requirements. You need some IT skills, especially these days with a lot of things being done remotely more than ever before. And of course, you need some kind of technical knowledge. If you're in the phone business, you need to know phones. If you're in the software business, you need to know software. If you're in the aerospace business, you need to know engines or parts or supply management, whatever your technical expertise needs to be to provide great service. But look, that's not the whole pie, is it? Now, it may not really just be 25%, like my diagram here, but I'm sure we can all agree the vast majority of what enables you to do your job effectively is your people skills, interpersonal skills, managing your customers, managing your suppliers, gaining the active support of others in order to get things done, building trust, calming upset people down, managing expectations, and so on and so on. It's really the majority of what makes you good at your job. World-class customer service really is founded on 2 pillars. The first pillar is technical excellence. The second pillar is interpersonal excellence, and we need to be good at both. If you have great technical abilities but no interpersonal skills, then you might know what you're doing, but you come off, potentially, you might come off to the customer as condescending, arrogant, dismissive, unhelpful. That's not world-class service. On the other hand, you might be an interpersonal genius, but you have no technical skill. So even though you're good with people, you give them bad advice or you take the wrong actions. And that's not world-class customer service. It really takes both. There are a whole bunch of tools and skills in this Customer First course. I've listed 13 of them. There are a lot more. There's about 20. But as we go through each of these tools and skills, sometimes it's tempting for people to say to themselves, well, I already know that. Well, it's not interesting what you know. What's interesting is what you do. And it's not just what you do, it's how well you do it. And that comes in degrees. And it's not even just how well you do it, but it's how consistently you do it and do it well. And so to help you with that, I have for you what I call the MARS adoption model. MARS stands for missing, ad hoc, repeatable, and systematic. So take any of the tools and skills we're going to learn. And as you learn them, let's take number 7, the canned sandwich. We'll learn what that is later in the next video, in video number 2. But for now, let's take the canned sandwich. Okay, so that's a tool, that's a technique, that's a method. As you learn about it, you ask yourself, missing means I don't currently do this at all. And if that's true, it's important for you to know that so you can make a choice, make a decision. Ad hoc. I do a less effective version of this, or I do this but sporadically. So now you know you need to do it better and do it more. Repeatable. That means I do something very close to this most of the time when it's needed, but not every time. I should be more consistent. And then finally, you have systematic. I do exactly this deliberately every time it's needed. So you see, there are degrees of adoption. There are degrees of expertise. And it's not about what you know. It's about what you do. So I want you to think about this MARS model, missing, ad hoc, repeatable, systematic, throughout our videos, throughout the course, so that you can apply in the right way. And in fact, if you're a person who takes it, let's say a tool like the canned sandwich, the question bridge, the upfront checklist, the adversity questions, the HEAT model, and so on, the TEAMS model, let's say that you're doing these things ad hoc and repeatable, then what we know about you is you're an occasional interpersonal genius. You sometimes do a great job handling customers, handling colleagues, running a meeting. But if you're in the repeatable or systematic level with all these tools and skills, you're going to find you're a consistent interpersonal genius. Isn't that what we all want? Not just to be great with people once in a while, once or twice a day, but many times a day, every day. So let's get a couple of definitions clear. Since it's a customer service course, it would be good if we all agreed on what a customer is. A customer is anyone, internal, external, who's bugging you for stuff. If someone needs something from you in that moment, they're your customer. Customers, of course, are the source of demand, requests, expectations. Well, what's a supplier? Well, it's kind of the opposite. It's anyone, internal or external, that you are bugging for stuff. So that means you're going to them to get something: information, approval, request, a document, a part, a product, a piece of paper, whatever the case may be. With our suppliers, we determine supply, capacity, reality, current reality of what we can and can't do based on policy, based on constraints, supply constraints, whatever the case may be. What's interesting is when you look at these two sides of the slide, you realize they don't always balance. And that's kind of the point. Every day, all day, you work on a seesaw. You're constantly trying to balance demand with supply, requests with capacity, expectations with reality, and they almost never balance, do they? That's the job. That's the whole point. And first, FIRST, this system will help you do that. Couple things to realize from this slide. One, it doesn't always stay still. I'll tell you what, a lot of people say as soon as everything gets into balance, as soon as we can actually deliver what our customers want, then I'll be happy. Well, no, you won't be happy. You'll be nervous, because as soon as the seesaw stops swinging, your job's no longer needed. No one's needed to minimize the swing. Now your job could be replaced by a simple email. So realize it always swings, and it always will. And our job is not to stop the swing, it's to reduce it. How? With best practices managing the customer side, and with best practices managing the supplier side to try to reduce the imbalance. Well, customer experience is a word we hear a lot about. As you know, customer experience is a critical part of your organization's strategy. It means, how are we going to please our customers so they want to pay us money and they want to stay our customer? But customer experience isn't the same as customer service. Let me show you. Here we have the customer experience triangle, and that triangle has 3 points. The first point is your systems. Your systems or processes affect the customer experience. That means the steps you have to take to serve your customers, but it also means the steps your customer has to take in order to be your customer. Do they have to take a whole bunch of steps? Is there a lot of unnecessary bureaucracy just to make things convenient for you? So that is one thing that affects the customer experience. Next, your services. That means the things you offer your customers, whether they're paid or whether they're included or whether they're free. So the services, maybe they meet the needs of your customer, maybe they don't meet the needs of your customer. And this, along with systems, affects the customer experience. Then finally, we have customer service, your actual service, which means how you interact with your customers as you work your systems, and they work your systems, and they experience or consume your services. Your service. And the key thing here is that although it's critically important, service is just one aspect of the customer experience. Now, why am I telling you this? Because I want you to know what this course isn't, as well as knowing what it is. This course is a way for you to get really, really good, best in class, world class at customer service, so that as you work with your customers to have them do your systems, your processes, and have them experience your services, you are managing them, managing yourself, and managing your colleagues with excellence. Now, if you've understood and absorbed everything in this simple Part 1 video, then you're ready for Part 2. In Part 2, we're going to look at how to control your own thinking habits and maintain a positive mindset so you have optimal performance every day. We're going to learn how to assure worried customers and how to ease their concerns and build trust. We're going to learn how to obtain information and context before you take action so that your customer actions are always the right ones. We're going to learn how to make highly reliable commitments and how to avoid overpromising. And we're going to finally learn how to manage your customers' expectations to be realistic and reasonable. And of course, this is key. So that's all coming up in part 2. Hope you'll give it a look. If you want to bring me into your organization to help your organization with customer service, then please feel free to reach out, and you see my website there. Thank you very much.